Let us pray. Dear God, we ask that as today's graduates depart from the life they have had in this school, they might become blessings to the world. That, remembering the gifts their families and friends and teachers have been for them, they might become gifts for others, and so become blessings. That, becoming aware that the world is always prepared for them by others in ways they can never fully repay, they might make the world a better place for those who come after them, and so become blessings. That, glimpsing purposes greater than those they might have imagined for their lives, they might also strive beyond their own imaginings, and so become blessings. May Westover's graduates of the class of 2015 become blessings to the world. Amen. Please be seated.
Welcome. This graduation ceremony is the 106th in Westover's history, and on behalf of the faculty and staff at the school, I'd like to welcome you to this very special day. To parents, families, and friends of our graduates, I know you are suspended between pride and disbelief. It seems impossible that the child your mind sees is really the accomplished young woman who sits before you. This is indeed the case. This is her day. Our task is simply to celebrate her triumphs. To join me in my welcome, I would like to introduce Francine Young, President of the Westover Board of Trustees.
Thank you all very much. It is a pleasure and an honor for me to be here and to celebrate this with you. And as you were processing down, I kept having flashbacks of when I did that as well. It is really exciting, and again, I am so very proud of all of you. I haven't met all of you individually, but I do remember not too long ago that several of us were out here in the Sallyport. You all laughing. Several of us were out here in the Sallyport as you were teaching me how to do some interesting dance, and my biggest fear is that that's going to show up somewhere on YouTube. Or Facebook. But I've enjoyed my time with you, for those of you who I've met more personally, and to parents, friends, family, we welcome you. And again, our task here is to help celebrate and move them along their way. Thank you.
The first part of our graduation program is the awarding of prizes. So on behalf of the faculty and with the assistant of Francine Young, I'm pleased to make these presentations. The Elizabeth Hosmer Kellogg Prize for Excellence in English to Kaylee Daniels. Shaking hands. The Elizabeth Wade White Prize for Excellence in English to Nora Shapiro. The Julius B. Smith Prize for Excellence in Mathematics, Jun Sung Chung. The Julie P. McClintock Prize for Excellence in French to Marie Shirashi. The Linda Summers Smith Prize for Excellence in Spanish to Kaylee Daniels. The Elizabeth Ross Cushman Prize in Classical Language for Excellence in Latin to Alicia Belcher. The Chinese Book Prize for Excellence in Chinese to London Dixon. The William Warren Barber and Elizabeth Barber Higgins Prize for Excellence in History to Kaylee Daniels. The Frederick J. Kingsbury Prize for Excellence in United States History to Sarah Bassett. The Jane Wells Cheever Prize for Excellence in Science to Krista McLean. The Francis Sortwell Perry Prize in the History of Fine Arts for Excellence in Art History to Erin Bottino. The Gail Whitney Stir Prize for Excellence in Studio Art to Josie Norris. The Music Prize for Excellence in Music and Outstanding Contribution to Music at Westover to Marie Shirashi. The last 5 prizes recognize some of the personal qualities we believe essential, beginning with the Ellen Kane McGinnis Prize to a junior developing independence of spirit, sense of humor, courage, and love of life for herself and others to Davis LeMay. The Louise Buckley Dillingham Prize to a student who has exemplified integrity to Min To. The Westover Parents Association Prize to a senior for valuable contribution to school life to Dalia Tejada. The Mr. and Mrs. Harry Webster Walker II Community Service Prize to a senior for outstanding service to the wider community, to Insung Chung. Our final prize is the Mary Robbins Hillard Prize to a senior who, through leadership, has shown qualities of initiative, perseverance, and courage, to Julia Cooper. Congratulations, girls. Each year, the senior class chooses one member to speak for the class. This year's student speaker is Addie Pates. Addie is a 4-year senior from Manchester, Massachusetts. She has been on the honor roll throughout her time at Westover. Her excellent and varied academic transcript includes awards in writing and strong work in things as diverse as AP statistics. In addition, however, Addie has delighted us for 4 years in the arts. She is a leader of our glee club. She sings in our chamber choir. She has been a regular on our stage, playing everything from a cat to a king. She recently won a Halo for Best Supporting Actress in a Play for her role as the father in Eurydice. She also received the prestigious Artistic Directors Award that recognizes one student each year for sustained excellence in acting. To quote one of her teachers, Addie is a community shaper. Last year, as a junior, she won the Ellen Kane McGinnis Award, and I'll remind you that's to recognize independence of spirit, sense of humor, courage, and love of life for herself and others. In that same year, her schoolmates recognized her for exceptional personality, and all of those things are perfect descriptions of Addie. I'm delighted to welcome her today.
Hello. Hello, friends, family, peers, and mentors. Hello to supporters. Hello to strangers. Hello, class of 2015, and congratulations. Well, here we are, spending our last few moments as students of this odd yellow nunnery. We've had a lot of preparation for this day. Everything from blindly moving in our first year to, more recently, spending an hour or two of our afternoons walking in heels has some way or another been leading to this moment. And whether we've been avoiding thinking about it or eagerly awaiting it, it's a bit surreal to actually be living it. So, cliched as it is, I thought I'd take some time to go through a few emotions, 5 specifically, that we might be feeling around this time. The first, well-deserved, is pride. You've pulled the all-nighter, finished the paper, and you turned it in on time in the morning. The early days, when you thought you wouldn't make any friends here, you did. The later days, when you thought you and those friends were going to murder each other if you had to spend one more minute together, you didn't! We've been challenged so much as a grade. Heck, we were the last ones to have Seamus. But we made it through to the other side. We survived those impossible weeks that on Monday we didn't think we'd be able to get through, the ones with 3 tests, 2 essays, 1 quiz, and a debate for good measure. Maybe you've run and slid and skipped in the rain, certainly an accomplishment. Maybe you've shown up to tea with the governors late, covered in mud and grass because you lost track of time in said rain. A different kind of accomplishment. Maybe you've made the team, impressed a teacher, or did your own laundry for the first time. Or you've read the book, slept the 8 hours, or made a, what at the time seemed awesome, video of you and your friends twerking. The little things count. We've surprised ourselves with what we've been able to accomplish here. We've gotten into the college, made that paper lamp, written that angst-ridden play, been caught out past in-room, belted that song from Frozen, gotten annoyed when others belted that song from Frozen, scored the goal, forgotten the line, aced the final, and come out of it all stronger and fuller people. Give yourselves a pat on the back, class of 2K15. You deserve it. On that roller coaster of emotions, the second one I'll address is sadness. Part of this may stem from regret. There were so many things you were going to do, so many ways to tease Mr. Hungerford that would just seem kind of weird and out of place next year. You were going to study harder for that test, train harder for that tournament, put more effort into that lantern poem. You were supposed to go to that dance, apply for that exchange trip, watch that movie with your friends. You were going to scrawl your name in odd places, so 50 years from now, a girl would find it and know that you existed here. You were going to make sure your graduation speech included every little idea you wanted it to. You were going to know all of the freshmen''s names. Sorry. However distraught we may be over all those missed chances, we can find comfort in looking to the future. Other opportunities will present themselves, and now we have more incentive to seize them. We'll be motivated to take that trip abroad, or to find time to make a jab about how Mr. Hungerford would have more success at herding penguins than stopping people from applauding during chapel. But, of course, our sadness doesn't just come from the things we didn't do, but the things we'll miss. Westover's a crazy little establishment filled to the brim with stress and smiles, and we do love it. What other place could turn a tense and awkward room search into a time for song? What other place could I emerge from my closet at 8 a.m. asking what happened and not be called that girl who freaked out during the first false alarm lockdown and hid behind her clothes for 4 hours? Well, at least not called that to my face. We are going off into the world, but Westover will continue without us. We'll miss being a part of these tiny classes, culty traditions, and by God will we miss having our favorite type of muffin weekly. We're going to miss our teachers and faculty who taught us more than we thought we could know, who helped us do more than we ever thought we could, and became our friends along the way. We'll miss each other, having a group of 49 sisters close at hand, ready to listen, or laugh, or tell us when our dress is too short. We're all going our separate ways, and we may never be together like this again. But, though this sounds corny, it's important to remember that we only feel so sorrowful because we got to go through something spectacular and unique and wonderful. So don't cry because it's over, smile because it happened, or cry a little, just for luck. The third emotion is anticipation. Screw all that nostalgic stuff. It happened for a reason, and that reason was to prepare us to get out of here. Next year, we won't have in-room, or lights out, or frugal and sit down on the same day. You know what never goes to sleep in college? Wi-Fi. And consequently us, at least for the first week or so. Maybe wherever we're going, we'll have more of a social scene than 5 pizza places and a Dunkin' Donuts. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm always up for pizza, but I suspect that some of us are ready to move on. Maybe we're ready to forget how guy-crazy and vulnerable and overconfident we were as freshmen and become that all over again in a new setting. We're glad to have been in this place with this class, but a fresh start, knowing what we learned here, sounds good too. A fresh start, where yellow cards and signing out won't even be a thing. Along with anticipation, at some point we may encounter fear. Now, hopefully not adrenaline pumping 4 a.m. and in a closet type of fear, but at the very least, we may come across a little nervous anxiety. Maybe it'll come when you're about to meet your dorm mates for the first time. Maybe you'll notice it when you're about to start an English paper due tomorrow and realize you've never once talked with your teacher one-on-one. Maybe you'll start worrying over whether you're going to be way out of your league in your favorite class or club or sport. There's something comforting in how long we've been at this school. We know Westover, and for the most part, we're good at Westover. We know how many minutes or hours late after the deadline we can turn in a paper without it actually being late. We know we can find someone to hang out with when we're bored. If we get turned around in quad, we know which door goes where, though being trapped without a key card can still be terrifying. We know who our friends are, what we can get away with, and what we can't. We're leaving all that behind. The rest of our lives, that's a big unknown. Even if we know what we want to do, getting there will be a mystery at times. That great, massive quotation mark is intimidating, to say the least. At the most, it's so terrifying that we consider whether or not it would be best to just refuse the risk and to stick with what we know. The first time I saw Westover in person, I turned to my dad and said, "I don't think I can go here. It's too yellow." I'd get sick of it by the end of the first week. Despite my impositions about the color, I distinctly remember calling, like, mustardy. I chose to come here, and I'm more than glad that I did. It's that gratitude that I'm getting at as the fifth emotion, a very important one at that. For it's when fear is keeping us from taking leaps that gratitude is so important. Be grateful for the education that gave you the know-how to plan for that leap you're scared to take. Be grateful to your family, who pushed you and encouraged you and warned you, whose lead you followed when you were unsure, who gave you a running start. Be grateful to your teachers, who gave you more confidence to know that you can do this, who hinted at all the possibilities waiting for you once you got to the other side. Be grateful that you have a support system of friends that you made here, who, should your leap be too short, are willing to catch you and lower you gently to the ground. Be grateful because we have something to be proud of, something to miss, something to look forward to, something to fear. We've been through a lot here, and it's hard to describe how glad we are to have gone through it. So let's remember this feeling of gratitude, because it's hard to be too scared when you're so damn thankful. Our time at Stova is coming to a close. Our bags are packed, diplomas will soon be given, and it's pretty much too late to turn anything else in. Pride, sadness, anticipation, fear, gratitude. After all we've done, we deserve to have as many emotions as we please. Whether we were traumatized, mesmerized, or barely awake, we've done it all together. So, congratulations to the crazed and intellectual, ticked off and tight-knit, genuine and joyful, glorious class of 2015.
Thank you, Addie. That was wonderful. I always enjoy introducing the fascinating men and women who speak at our commencements, and introducing Dr. Paul Farmer, renowned medical anthropologist and humanitarian, is a special treat. Dr. Farmer is a professor in Harvard Medical School's Department of Global Health and Social Medicine and a co-founder of Partners in Health, an international social justice and health organization. As noted on the Harvard Medical School's website, Dr. Farmer and his colleagues in the United States and abroad have pioneered novel community-based treatment strategies that demonstrate the delivery of high-quality health care in resource-poor settings in the United States and other countries. Dr. Farmer is the subject of Tracy Kidder's biography, Mountains Beyond Mountains, The Quest of Dr. Paul Farmer, a Man Who Would Cure the World. Dr. Farmer has also written extensively on health and human rights, about the role of social inequalities in the distribution and outcome of infectious diseases, and about global health. His most recent book, Reimagining Global Health, presents a distillation of several historical and ethnographic perspectives of contemporary global health problems. Other titles include To Repair the World, Paul Farmer Speaks to the Next Generation, a collection of short speeches. Called on as a frequent speaker at a range of public events, this spring Dr. Farmer was also the commencement speaker on May 8th at Duke University, from which he graduated in 1982 with a Bachelor of Arts in Medical Anthropology. He later attended Harvard University, earning an MD and a PhD in medical anthropology. We are thrilled to have him as our graduation speaker today.
Thank you, Ann. You know, that makes me sound a lot better than I am. Hello there, inspiring women of Westover. Thank you. I was really excited about giving this speech until I walked in and tried to print it and heard Crystal Pemberton. I don't know if she's still here. You struck fear in my heart. I mean, it was this riotous laughter. Every line, it sounded like stand-up comedy, and I'm thinking, I wrote a serious speech for these girls. And Addie Pates was worse. Because she was both funny and deeply affecting. But I've done my best. Now, what are the chances that I won't invoke the Latin motto of Westover? Relief number one, the chances are 100%. If you want Latin, ask Alicia Belcher. My guess is the chances of such an occurrence, no Latin, in the first 50 or so Westover graduations would be less than being struck by lightning in the chapel standing with Mr. Hungerford. But then again, academic fashions change. The classics have long been the classics, but Latin has not been required for the study of medicine for many decades. I'd add, here's hoping they get rid of physics, but think that the head of school, a longtime champion of sending girls into science and engineering, might think ill of me. Imagine how much has changed over the last century. Changed here. I mean, for a moment, in 1909, when this school was founded, just imagine what it must have been like. Or, again, ask Sarah Bassett. She won the History Award. Truly, Sarah, where are you? Right there. I was asking, trying to figure out how many states were there in the Union in 1909 and couldn't figure it out. Those states were future. Did she have it? Those states were future conquest, but so too was girls' education. A century ago, fewer than 5% of American women went on to university. That fraction was less than 1% of African American women. And although my class at Harvard Medical School was the first in Harvard's history to be more than half women, the class of 1909 was closer to 100% men. Change happens. No one needs to tell you that, except that we are all so attuned to the here and now, our here and now, with the boundaries of our bubble set largely by our daily experiences and concerns or by yellow walls. I thought they would get a chuckle. Our bubbles are so defined that we really do need to struggle to remember the experience of others, the living and the dead. If I were pushed to identify a single challenge before you as you leave here, regardless of where the road next takes you, it would be the struggle to see the entire world as your world, even as you also struggle to build communities that are intimate and your own. Inward-looking traditions are necessary to forge a new institution, as anyone who has sought to forge one knows. But I'm your guest today to celebrate looking out to outward-looking ones. Ann Polina joined the mathematics department here in 1972, and today she's graduating too. So I hope you will all join me in thanking her once again for her service. You know how lucky you've been. Outward looking. One of the places, and I look outward a lot, I didn't really until I went off to college. And then I was lucky enough to go to Haiti. And by the way, I'll add extemporaneously, kind of try to show up Addie for her perfect little speech, that when I was a senior at Duke University, I don't know why, but I wanted to go to West Africa. I wanted to be a doctor in West Africa. I'd never been to West Africa or any part of Africa or Latin America. I'd hardly been out of the United States at all. First plane ride I ever took was on my way to Durham, North Carolina. And I'm glad that I had the confidence to believe that anyone in his or her right mind working in a medical clinic would want me to come work with them with no medical credentials. So I applied for a Fulbright. And I thought, oh, I'm sure I'll get it. I'm a good student. I didn't even get an interview. So Haiti was plan B, and that's the best thing that ever happened to me. I'd just like you to, if you don't remember anything I said, you will have disappointments, but you are leading charmed lives in very many ways, as Addie and others have said. It took me a long time to get back to West Africa, 30 years in fact. I guess get to West Africa, but one of the places I've been able to work in addition to Haiti has been in Rwanda. And I want to talk a little bit about Rwanda. That's how I met Anne and many others here. Rwanda, to steal the title of a friend's memoir, means the universe. More than anything, I'm here today because of Rwanda's relation to Westovers, students, faculty, and you know about this connection. And what a wonderful thing it is to know about places far beyond your bubble. How many of you have heard of the Mariando School? Hands up. Well, I'd say that's pretty good. I think the families and faculty need to work a little bit. You should have, it's your sister school and shares many of this school's values. But in Rwanda, even more than in the United States, 109 years ago, or even 20, very, very few people went off to university. And even fewer, precious few girls did. Many didn't get through middle school, much less high school. And that's why Mariando was founded close to a decade ago. One thing I've learned as a doctor is that in many ways, people are the same the whole world over. But they are also not the same. Girls starting school in Rwanda today are not the same as girls starting school at Westover now or a century ago. When we talk about diversity, which Anne and so many of you have done with the hopes of flinging the doors of Westover wider open, we would do well to continue to think about the diversity of possibility that is so unfairly distributed in the world today. One of the founders of the Mariando School was a friend of mine from Rwanda, someone who welcomed me and my family when we moved there 10 years ago. Aloysia Nyumba held high posts in the Rwandan government, including Minister of Gender twice, a cabinet-level position to attend to the needs of women and girls, including their educational needs, and with a special focus on girls living in poverty. She was also the mother of Nicole Masazera, who we're very proud of, who's graduating today and is heading off to Tufts, closer to my net at Harvard. better go to medical school is all I'm saying, Nicole. How do you like that modern pedagogy, Anne? Threat. Aloysia's experience couldn't be more different from yours or mine or from her daughter's. For her daughter grew up in peacetime. Aloysia helped to create it. I don't bring up the worst spasm of mass violence in the history of Africa in order to darken our day of celebration. I bring it up instead to celebrate inspiring women. You know, all of you here, what happened in 1994. I won't ask you to imagine it. Instead, imagine what Nicole's young parents faced after years of struggle. The struggle for peace is not the same thing as the fight to win a war or to end violence. To be honest with you, graduates, this is hard for anyone to imagine. So I cheated, and I'm sorry to say this, Anne, by stealing a copy of Nicole's college essay. Sorry, Nicole. Here I'd like to thank my longtime accomplice, that petite felon, Maureen Rutgers. Where is she? Yeah, you can clap for Maureen Rutgers. We all love Maureen Rutgers. So blame her if you're unhappy that I have said essay. It's a beautiful essay. Here's what Nicole said about her parents. Little did I know I would be sharing my parents with their second family, the whole country of Rwanda. And it was true. My mother, she wrote, was responsible for burying the many dead, finding new homes for the orphans across the country, and leading the Reconciliation Commission that organized community trials for the alleged perpetrators. Aloysia Inyumba passed away before her time. Thousands came to her funeral, people from all walks of life, the well-to-do and the poor, and most notably, people who only years earlier had been mortal enemies and unlikely to congregate together to celebrate anything at all, much less a well-loved public servant who was and remained throughout her life a partisan. But she was a partisan of the values you can hold dear, all of you graduates. At the funeral, the president of Rwanda put it this way, and I quote, "Today we bid farewell to her body, but her values live on. She showed us that we must be a country defined by dignity, respect for ourselves, self-reliance, and knowing what we stand for." As Nicole and her family and friends, some of them Westover graduates, gather here today, we can all celebrate these values, all of us, regardless of where we come from and what experiences we've had. These are values celebrating hard work and a lot of heart. Let me close with the shortest of stories. Hope springs in their hearts. Did he really say, let me close? I did, but I don't mean it. Just a snippet of something I heard a few years ago, one night on a mountaintop in northern Rwanda. At the outset of our collective effort to build a hospital there, the logistic challenges were enormous. No doctors and almost no nurses, no paved roads, no electricity, no running water in this part of northern Rwanda, not far from Uganda or from the troubled Congo. All there was on the very spot where we envisioned a beautiful hospital was a giant tree, a dilapidated military base, and we later learned some unexploded ordnance. The region had been racked for years by war and genocide. This was what Aloysia was trying to stop, and we, with many others, did stop when she was scarcely any younger than you graduates are. Now, turning swords into plowshares required a great deal of work. It requires heart. It requires a plan, but it mostly requires heart. Think about it, a hospital, it's not just a building, but recruiting and training and retaining the people inside it. The people, that's the heart of the matter. And if that sword is being reforged as a hospital, it requires the people outside of it too. Community health workers in towns and villages across a district. This work took a couple of years, some taking care of the sick during the time it was being built. For surely taking care of the sick, that is, decent health care, is central to any peace dividend, as Aloysia argued while serving as Minister of Gender and in other formal roles. Swords into plowshares. While some worked hard to move the military base, some worked to level part of the mountain and to raise, bit by bit, a beautiful hospital, all without felling that towering green sentinel. At last, the hospital was almost done. The mighty tree surged heavenward. Now the pride of an open courtyard like this one, and surrounded by hand-hewn walls of volcanic rock. But almost done is not the same thing as done, especially with hospitals. The night before it was to be dedicated by Rwanda's president, we were all exhausted and faced with yet another all-nighter. Poor Addie, having to have an all-nighter to write a paper. I'm staying up to build a hospital. At 4 in the morning, Addie, still trying to work out last-minute problems, I thanked a Rwandan colleague for, I said, working like a dog. He looked at me as if I might be mocking him. You've been working really hard, I explained, like a dog. Thanks so much. But dogs don't work hard, he objected mildly. Great anthropologist that I am, right? Can't even speak the language. Pitiful. So I did ask nonetheless, well, what's a good Rwandan expression for such tireless effort? He replied, we say sometimes that someone works hard like the heart. The heart, I know, is called upon to do many things. It is, every medical or nursing student knows, a muscular pump. It's a lonely hunter, says the novelist. Sometimes we hear in times of trouble, take heart. We wear that organ on our sleeves. Hearts get sick, we say, and sometimes break or freeze or quail. They are subject to failure, heart failure, attacks, burn, to name but a few of the nouns. Wait, they are nouns. Often following heart. She's a mathematician, she doesn't know. But hearts also sing. And this happens often enough when helping those in trouble, or after hard work to any noble end, whether that end is a hospital on a hill, or a victory on the sports field, or a triumph on the stage. Hearts will even sing in a classroom, after hard work on a paper, or during an exam, or at the end of a remarkable book, probably not one of mine, that compels us to stay up all night to read. Doctors' hearts sing, I know from experience, when their patients recover or feel better. All these achievements require working hard, like the heart. Happy story. That hospital got built. One of the most remarkable things that I saw there more than a couple of years ago, it was actually before the hospital was open, was a woman who was going to have triplets. So now we have a hospital and doctors and nurses and nurse midwives. On that day, I wasn't there. Actually, one of my Haitian colleagues was working there. Think about that. Haitian colleagues in Rwanda helping to introduce modern healthcare delivery up on a mountain. It's kind of a beautiful image of solidarity. And out comes number one, a girl. Out comes number two, a girl. Out comes number three, a girl. About 10 minutes later, doctor says, wait, I think there's another one. quadruplets. They're all alive now. They're 5 years old. I saw them not long ago. There's a picture of them in the hospital. Actually, their nickname, rather unfortunately, is 1, 2, 3, and 4. Another happy story. I'm leaving tonight to go to Haiti, to a hospital we built after the earthquake. You built many of them. My friends who, from Westover trustees, Westover supporters, Nicole's adopted family, they all supported this work. And we didn't have a hospital that could promise. I lost in my first year in Haiti, in between college and medical school, the year of the failed Fulbright application. Of the half dozen or so young Haitians I was working with, 3 of them died before they were 30. 1 of cerebral malaria, 1 of typhoid, and 1 shortly after childbirth. Hospital care. There wasn't any. We spent a long time trying to build it. But I'm going there tonight, not that they need me now. We do have a beautiful hospital in central Haiti. And on November 24th, on my theme of multiple births, triplets were born. This time they really were triplets. But 2 were conjoined twins. It used to be called Siamese twins. I'd never seen that in 30 years of medicine. And I'm very proud to tell you that last week, the twins were separated by a Haitian surgeon who went to Harvard Medical School and went back to serve along with 24 other healthcare providers in that operating room. That comes out of hard work. And that's what you're going to face. It might not be dramatic. It might be another paper. It might be challenges in your family. But thinking about other people, that's what I'm confident you've learned to do here, or to do better here. So when someone says, harden your heart, don't listen to them. Don't harden your hearts. We shouldn't harden our hearts, and you haven't, dear class of 2015. You are inspiring women, as are so many associated with this school. Part of that is because of your commitment to excellence, your hard work, and part is about your commitment to community. The creation of tradition, like creating your own saint. Who is Saint Theodate? Am I the only one? I can ask Francine or Tom Hungerford or Don Hannon have more theological interests. That's Parley's father. Which one's Parley? Huh? Where's she hiding? Do you think he'll know about saints? I think he will too. I thought Saint Theodate, how do you say it, man? Theodate was a Greek martyr who died some horrible death. Not the architect of this beautiful, but rather uncharitably described odd yellow nunnery. Addie, may your speech live on. Creating your own tradition is an important part, right, of this community. Like creating your own rival sports team, the Wests and the Overs, really? Is that a true story? Because you didn't have anyone else to play with? And oh my heavens, are those really pinafores? You guys are so 1909. And Addie, who is Seamus, or what is Seamus? Is that some Irish poltergeist that Theodate left in a... One of the things that Anne, Paulina, and Francine Young, and many others here have tried to do is to broaden our definition of community. That was the point of the parable of the Good Samaritan. That's the point of I hear and read about this place, celebrating Ramadan, or having sister schools like Mariando, or establishing the Raisin Center for Global Justice. That's the point, indeed, of celebrating inspiring women. The ones that were, the ones that are, and the ones that will be. That would be you. You came to this odd yellow nunnery as girls. I'll never forget that. You are leaving inspiring women. Go forth and be them for the rest of your lives. Congratulations to all of you, and thank you for including me in this wonderful day.
Paul, for those words that are so very tailored to Westover. Now, with the assistance of Ms. Young and Mr. Hildebrand, and on behalf of faculty and the Board of Trustees, it is my pleasure to award Westover diplomas to the graduating class. I would ask the audience, please, to hold your applause until the last student in each row has been awarded her diploma.
Julia Frida Cooper. Isabella Gia Yu. Catherine Jane Kenzel. Sophia Rose Hodson. Sophia Ray Bourgeois. Kristen Barbara McLean. Dahlia Suriel Tejada. Rachel Claire Pomerantz. Sarah Ashlyn Wilson Peterson. And Margaret Adeline Pates. Leanne Leing Kolpa. Samantha Lauren Masasi. Nicole Akarizi Mazazera. Afua Boatama Nsia. Uxuan Yo. Lindsay Purnell Rogers.
Yeah, girl.
Marie Shirashi. Ang Lamu Sherpa. Nsung Chung. Nin Nuet To. Sarah Taylor Bassett. Fiona Ann Jones. And Yalun Huang. Sehara Abdi Hassan. Veronica Jane McMorrow. Savannah Sage Lodge. Olivia Rose Pesh. Phoebe Reese Perrin. Rebecca Claire Rashkoff. Ashley Gabriela Sanchez. Megan Renee Vogel. Jillian Eileen Buckley. Emily Virginia Bach. Kaylee Quinn Daniels. Sarah Faye Sokolowski. And Grace Molinari Yule. Parley Eastwood Hannon. Hannah Elizabeth Ide Tompkins. Allison Jane Walker. Guy Young Lee. Alicia Lauren Belcher. Nora Dean Shapiro. Minju Shin. London Nicole Dixon. Hannah Pope Olshansky. Rachel Elizabeth Sherberg. Elizabeth Reed Lewis. Shannon Lee McCrae. Ariadna Thais Marin. And Naima Muhammad. Wait for it. It is now with great pleasure that I present Westover's graduating class of 2015.
Congratulations now, graduates. At this point in the program, I'd like to say a few words to the senior class, but before I begin, I'd like to tell the audience that the closing ceremony after the benediction and the school anthem takes place on the athletic field directly behind me. I believe you'll want to see this ceremony. It's our graduation circle, a tradition as old as the school. Through the years, photographs of the Westover graduation circle have appeared on everything from greeting cards to dust jackets to the pages of Life magazine. The images of unity and community, of wholeness and belonging are uniquely Westover. The best vantage point for viewing the circle is gained by exiting from the quad to my left and then walking down the arcade towards the LBD. The ceremony can also be seen from the embankment behind me. Please do take your belongings with you, as the chairs under the trees will be taken down while you're viewing the graduation circle. Now a few words to my seniors. Sharing these words each year is one of the parts of my job that I most enjoy, and this year more than ever, since I'm graduating too, part of the class of 2015. It took my classmates 4 or 3 years at Westover to graduate. It took me 43. Some of us are slower learners than others. I'm proud to say that no matter what other jobs I held throughout my years at Westover, I spent at least some of my time in the classroom, and it's from the perspective of teaching that I really create the charge to the class. One of my favorite reflections on teaching comes from the words of Parker Palmer, who speaks of the community we must create in education in these words. This community connects us with what the poet Rilke called the great things of the world and the grace of great things. We are in community with all of it, the genes and ecosystems of biology, the symbols and references of philosophy, the archetypes of betrayal and forgiveness and loving and loss that are the stuff of literature, the artifacts and lineages of anthropology, the materials of engineering with their limits and potentials, the logic of systems and management, the shapes and colors of music and art, the novelties and patterns of history, the elusive idea of justice under law. We are in community with all of these great things. And great teaching is about knowing that community and feeling that community and sensing that community and drawing your students into it. There are so many lessons here, but the one I wish to draw on or talk about today in my charge to the graduating class is grace, the grace of these great things. I've spent a fair amount of time, not that grace, I've spent a fair amount of time recently reflecting on the notion of grace. And here I don't mean the context of the word that suggests kindness or generosity of spirit, though both of those interpretations I think fit very well with you, class of 2015. It fits with your personality and accomplishments. What I want to reflect on is grace as defined by an essay by Francis Edward Sue. He defines it this way: grace, the good things you didn't earn or deserve, but you're getting them anyway. I invite you to think about that, as I have, in context of your time at Westover. What have we done to deserve the opportunity to converse about the staggeringly great ideas of Dostoevsky, to appreciate the beauty of Mary Cassatt's paintings, or to listen to Marie play Debussy, to come to understand the intricacies of mathematical power series, or the life of bees, to learn to understand our very humanity through history and language, to challenge ourselves physically with a game of field hockey surrounded by the brilliant colors that autumn paints around our back field. Look around you for a minute. Look at each other. Look at your younger friends sitting before you, and look at this side of the aisle at your mentors and teachers. What has any of us done to merit sharing the passion and talents of these people? You heard Paul talk about health conditions and concerns in places around the globe. We live in a part of this country where we see the best medical care in the world as our right. What accident of birth gave us that undeserved advantage? Class of 2015, you are an exceptionally talented and brilliant group. You work hard, you care for each other, you care for the world around you. I know in this life you will earn many well-merited rewards on your way through life. The grace of which I am speaking today is different. I'm speaking of the blessings Mr. Hungerford start with, the blessings with which we are surrounded, but which we have done nothing to earn. So my charge to you, my graduating class, is a simple one. It comes in two parts. First, never fail to recognize the grace with which you are surrounded, and never, never forget to be grateful for it. In the presence of the grace of great things, humility and gratitude really are the only stances we can take. And secondly, become an instrument of grace to others. See it as part of your lives to give to others the benefits and blessings they don't deserve whenever it's in your power to produce these. I ask you to live on both sides of this grace, gratefully accepting it and generously giving it, and suggest that you will never be more fulfilled or more fully human. To all of you, students, colleagues, parents, family, and friends, you have been a grace to my life, and I thank you.
On the day when the weight deadens on your shoulders and you stumble, may the clay dance to balance you. And when your eyes freeze behind the window and the ghost of loss gets into you, may a flock of colors, indigo, red, green, and azure blue, come to awaken in you a meadow of delight. When the canvas frays and the kurok of thought and a stain of ocean blackens beneath you, may there come across the waters a path of yellow moonlight to bring you safely home. May the nourishment of the earth be yours. May the clarity of light be yours. May the fluency of the ocean be yours. And so may a slow wind work these words. These words of love around you. An invisible cloak to mind your life.